This Solar Titan build has been flying under the radar this season, and I am not sure why. I know when we say Solar Titan, we instantly think of the Exotic Gauntlets Synthoceps, and rightfully so. They have been a powerhouse on Titan for what, 4 or 5 years now, and that is because of the combination of them with the Bonk Hammer. So for me personally, I have played the Syntho Hammer combo for far too long and get so bored of chasing my hammer to the ends of the earth sometimes when I miss. I know, skill issue, right? That is why the last 2 or 3 seasons I have made Consecration Slam Titan builds on the Solar Titan that you all seem to really enjoy, just giving you a different playstyle to shake things up. Well, today we have a great build with a truly ugly exotic. This build provides truly unlimited grenades even when you only kill a single target, and that is thanks to some buffs to the fragments and mods that came with Lightfall, and we're running those that tie so well into our exotic. Our abilities, which include our grenade and throwing hammer, hit like a truck thanks to Roaring Flames ×3, so we're talking 80k damage per grenade, and we always have them available. Then to round it out, the Solar Titan has access to unlimited restoration from our aspect that creates sunspots for us, and a new fragment that heals us on grenade kills. This build is the perfect Solar Titan build if you're tired of just throwing that mini hammer over and over and want to change things up, yet still have a very strong build that even in difficult content holds up well because we have 2 abilities that hit hard, and we have an unlimited amount of them, plus our healing to make us super tanky. All the gameplay you're watching is from -15 power level or lower, so the build performs very well. If you would like to see this build in one easy place, then the link is down below for all of you to check out over on Mobalytics. You can see the aspects, fragments, mods, and the gameplay loop, and I hope this helps you all out since I know you all love your infographics. This entire build revolves around the exotic armor that is Ashen Wake. Yes, I know they're super ugly. Come on Bungie, we need an ornament for these bad boys. Ashen Wake's actually got a pretty big indirect buff with a lot of changes in Lightfall to make it where we only need a single kill on an enemy to get our grenade back, which is kinda crazy since our grenade hits for 80k damage. That means it's killing most everything in the game except champions or bosses. The exotic perk is Bring the Heat. Fusion grenades now explode on impact and gain increased throw speed, so we get fastball with it, and then final blows with fusion grenades grant grenade energy. Now normally when you get a kill with your fusion grenade, you get 25% grenade energy back for defeating a minor enemy, which are most red bars in the game. So if you were to kill 4 red bars, you would get a full charge back. This happens sometimes when enemies are grouped up, but we want to get that fusion grenade back even if there's only 1 enemy available to defeat. And this is where some buffed fragments and mods really make Ashen Wake shine in the Lightfall era, because 1 fusion grenade is going to do a ton for us. From the subclass we have the aspect called Sol Invictus, one of the strongest aspects in the entire game, and when we kill an enemy with our fusion grenade, that is going to create a sunspot. So now our grenade makes a sunspot. Next we add the fragment called Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. Well, guess what? Our fusion grenade scorches targets when we hit them, even if we outright defeat that 1 target. So we're now creating a fire sprite and a sunspot with the 1 fusion grenade. And to top it off, we add in the mod Firepower. So our grenade now makes an orb of power as well. And since our grenade hits so hard, it will kill most enemies in the game. So we can now create a sunspot, a fire sprite, and an orb of power every 3 to 4 seconds when we throw our fusion grenade. And when we combine all that, it just does so much for the build. So here's how it works. Now we want to step through that sunspot we created. This will give us the Sol Invictus buff, which is restoration ×1, so some great continuous healing. It also gives us an ability regen buff to get that grenade back, and we also pick up the fire sprite and the orb of power in the process. The fire sprite is straight up giving you about 20% grenade energy, and the orb of power is feeding our armor charge system. We actually get 3 stacks of armor charge instantly because of the orb of power and the fire sprite, which means every single grenade throw we are proccing our grenade kickstart and consuming those 3 charges to just feed that grenade loop. That orb of power is also feeding all 3 mods on our boots and giving us grenade energy from Innervation mod and the Absolution mod, which each gives us grenade energy on orb pickup. Then we have stacks on stacks, so when we grab that orb, we get 2 armor charges instead of 1, and we combine this with the artifact mod called Solar Surge that gives us a charge for grabbing the fire sprite. So we get 3 armor charges as we pass through the sunspot. Basically what all of this does is combine into 1 single kill, giving us our grenade back in 2 or 3 seconds. If you get 2 kills with your fusion grenade, then your grenade comes back instantly, and more than likely you will be getting 2 or more kills per throw. But even if you don't, it doesn't really matter because you only need 1. That 1 grenade throw is creating the sunspot, the fire sprite, the orb of power. You're passing through that sunspot and getting healing, getting grenade energy, grabbing the orb of power and the fire sprite. The fire sprite is giving you grenade energy. The orb of power is giving you grenade energy. The orb of power and fire sprite are both feeding your armor charge system. and you're consuming all 3 stacks of those armor charge every grenade throw with grenade kickstart. So there is quite a bit going on, but it's all within this one tiny loop of throw the grenade, get a kill, pass through the sunspot. And I can't stress that enough how easy it is to just proc and rotate through all of this. We've already mentioned Roaring Flames earlier in the video, but that's your second aspect. Obviously, final blows with solar abilities or ignitions increase the damage of your solar abilities, and this stacks up to 3 times, and it's a 20-second countdown timer. So just by getting kills with those fusion grenades, you're always going to have Roaring Flames up. We already went over Ember of Searing as one of your fragment options. Your other 2 fragments that are kind of mandatory that I personally think is Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant, so you're getting that 25% weapon damage bonus for you and allies, and then that's allowing your weapons to pierce barrier champions because you're radiant. Next, I like to take Ember of Ashes. You apply more scorch stacks to targets. And you might think that you're outright killing things, but sometimes when you have groups of enemies with high health targets like champions in this Lost Sector, for example, you can cause massive ignitions because your fusion grenade is scorching, your sunspots are scorching, and then since you get your fusion grenade back so quickly, you apply another stack of scorch. And Ashes just makes all that go quicker. Now for your 4th fragment slot, this one can be completely up to you. I actually chose to go with Ember of Resolve. Solar grenade final blows cure you. That way, if for whatever reason I get a couple kills from my grenade alone and I'm far away from enemies, I don't actually have to pass through the sunspot to get healing. The Ember of Resolve just heals me, just in case for whatever reason I couldn't get up and grab the fire sprite and the sunspot and all that. But this slot is up to you. For stats on the build, you want to take 100 resilience, push that discipline up as high as possible, and then your 3rd stat is up to you. Recovery or strength would be my 2 options. And this build requires no certain weapons, so use whatever you like in that aspect. And then let's go over the armor. On the helmet, I took a Void Siphon, so my heavy machine gun could create orbs of power for me. And then I also took Ashes to Assets and Hands On. Both of them just feeding our super energy because you're going to be getting a ton of kills with your grenade and a ton of kills with your melee ability. On the chest piece, I took a Void Reserves for that heavy machine gun, and then Solar Resistance and Concussive Dampener. So just use resist mods that are matching whatever you're playing. On the boots, we basically already went over these. You want Innervation and Absolution, so when you pick up that Orb of Power, it's just going to feed your grenade and other abilities. And then stacks on stacks, so when we pick up that Orb of Power, we get an extra grenade charge. On our gauntlets, we're using Impact Induction, causing damage with a melee attack, reduces your grenade cooldown. Firepower, so we can create that Orb of Power when we defeat something with our grenade, and then Grenade Kickstart to feed that grenade energy and consume our stacks of armor charges. And then in our class item, I still went with Reaper, so when I use that class ability and my next weapon kill is going to spawn an Orb of Power, and then Double Bomber, so when I pop that class ability, I can feed that grenade energy just in case I'm short for whatever reason. So I hope you found the video helpful. I hope it gives you a different way to play the Solar Titan and enjoy it. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.